Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Wednesday, June 4th. And we're looking at the market holding on to their gains, starting off pretty freaking good, pretty much to the upside. Yesterday's close was pretty good as well. They held up, they held their highs, and did not. I was expecting them to run it lower here, run it back down towards the 59.50s. That last 10 minutes. But no profit taking at all. They just kind of held the line and then it's close towards the highs, and overnight has just been holding on. So no profit taking. Looks to me like we have a really good shot at getting into the 6,000s again. So that's why we get started this morning. The news we have in front of us, economic news. Let me see. We had more mortgage application came out at 7. They're to the downside, 3-4% to the downside. So weak numbers across the board there. ADP report comes out at 8:15 in a few minutes. Bostic is speaking at 8:30. At the 9:45 we get PMI composite. ISM services at 10. Oil report at 10:30. And that's a bit. We have a beige book come out at 2 as well. Could be moving the market. We'll just make sure you pay attention to that time frame. So really at 9:45 and 10 we have news. The oil report is kind of limited. Bostic speaking at 8:30. It could potentially be something. And of course the ADP report we get an idea. Usually it talks about as giving you a heads up on the employment situation on Friday, but usually it doesn't give you any correlation. It's pretty shitty. I think at least. Usually the difference is pretty big, but it gives you at least a data point. So starting off from the long side this morning, looking to buy weakness. At this point against so we had this could be now start of the move out of the middle. They're right up here against this upper area of resistance. We did not back off into the close yesterday. That's a good strong sign. News today is not necessarily news which is going to crash the market. So, if we get a trade deal come out or something like that, then I think the market is on its way. But so far, we don't have any of those bigger pieces of news come out from these tariff negotiations. So I would start off on the long side. I'm going to buy weakness 59.85s, 59.75s. 59.65. So these are the three levels I'm initially looking to buy against. If they back off these single prints here, you see that single print E at 59.65. I think we may be seeing this running it down to 59.50, maybe 40s, reverse retesting those levels. But initially, I'm looking to buy against the upper three support areas for rotations back up. If it backs off more than that, I think maybe a resistance held, and we're going to be potentially seeing a rotation down here to the 59.20 to 30s. This year, basically high volume area, right at 59.10, 10 to 20. If they take out resistance here at the 59.90s, the next level up is going to be a tractor or an edge here at the 6,100s. We have a small attractor here at the 6,060s. That's a mode of this 90-day distribution. So fair amount of volume traded right there at the 6,060s, 65s. That's your first attractor. You have one small attractor at 85s and a pretty good edge here at the 6,100s. So that's what we got in front of us. But at this point, we still have to get past that first resistance area. All right, so starting off on the long side, looking to buy weakness, at least down to the 59.65s. On the way up, looking to sell strength at the 59.95s. Well, it depends on where they are right now. 95s is the best shot you have, maybe 6,005s. But they keep trading higher than that. I think they're right on their way to higher, and I would not be super aggressive on it. I'm probably not going to be super aggressive to get at the get-go anyway on the short side. There could be short trades in here, and the best you have right now is that 95, 59.95 level. But it's just the overnight been testing it, been stalling there. As the day sessions start running in here, we will see if they're just going to blow through this or not. But this is an upper area of resistance. So if it holds, and that will be basically this 59.95 level, maybe the 6,005 level, above these two, then I think we are on our way. So But I would look for those short setups. I'm not going to be super aggressive about it. I would prefer the long side of the market today, at least to get started. But just watch if they run up here, test the 95s, and you start seeing them knocking off, say, the session lows at 75. If you see that kind of dynamic, I think a resistance held, and we're probably going to see a little bit more of a pullback. So that would be the other way to look at it. So I mean, so if we get early weakness, looking to buy down to that 65. If we instead get a little bit of strength, a nice pop to the upside right from the get-go, and they stall at 95 or 6,005, and they sit there for a bit, we may see a pretty good move to the downside. I would watch then that 59.75. That's going to give you the heads up that we are heading lower at that point. All right, so that's how we get started on the ES. Looking at the NASDAQ and the bonds. Bond market ES going sideways, holding pretty good around 112, 15, 16, 113 here. So I'm just going to start out range bound on the bond market. We're going to buy 1202s, 1128 for rotations back up. They're going to get short against 1210, 1220, 1224 for rotations back down. So that's the range. Yesterday's range, kind of what I'm looking at right now. If this starts trading below that 1128, I'm going to be on the short side, see how far I can take it on the downside. And if they start trading above that 1125s, we may have a move up here to the 113s, maybe higher in front of us. But at this point, I'm not seeing directional moves in a big way at this point. They've been holding on pretty darn good in that range and just keep going sideways. It's just the building value here. And this distribution, if I fold it together now like this, we can leave it like this now. You can see that we are trading at that lower end of the range. And we have it attractor at 114.10, another attractor at 12.24. So that's where we're trading. So I start heading down here below in this outside value. Start worrying about the short side, and they take out that three-letter ledge and trade into new territory. Well, bets are off at that point, and the bond market is having an issue. That usually is something to pay attention to. Bond market start making issues, then it could be it could be something could be up at that point. And on the NASDAQ is already on its way. And this is the one that's why I'm thinking it's going to drag the ES with it. It just has to hold on to this. So the NASDAQ traded higher, move out of the middle, held on to the gains, just hasn't retraced. We'll see if they can keep going. They're running into that ledge right now, the 21,800s. If that comes out, we could find ourselves testing the highs on NASDAQ again pretty freaking quick. Now that would be spectacular. That would be something, right? From April 2nd, total meltdown on the market, 10, 15, 20%, to a complete retracement here, literally like 2 months later. That is pretty violent. Pretty violent. So looking to buy weakness on the NASDAQ at this 715 to 20s, 650s, down to the 620s. I would give it below 620s. Well, I would give it to the 550s is the one you really need to worry about it. So they're down here. So I would give it all the way down to 610, maybe even down to the 560s here for a before I really change my bias on the NASDAQ, because they're way ahead of the game. So what I'm saying is if the NASDAQ starts retracing, a reverse retest of this level here, the 560s, and you can see it's this level right there, would be fine. If below that level, bets are off. And I think they're heading lower at that point. So looking to buy weakness, 715 to 20, 670, 620, down to that 560 level for rotations back up. There may be short trades in here if they start taking out that London low and start retracing a couple of levels between these two. But early weakness, that means that it just start trading lower from the get-go, looking to buy at least these first three levels. If you see some strength from the get-go, they run it up here to start testing the 760s and the 790 to 800s and stall there for a bit and then starts failing after that. I think we may just see a retest failure of this upper edge on the Nasdaq. And the edge I'm talking about would be this edge right there. So if they run up here, test that 800 level, stall that for a bit, fails, we may see a pullback in the afternoon instead. And that would be just a retest failure to take out this upper level and potential retracement. And if it doesn't go down below the 560s at that point, and we are still in that move out of the middle to the upside. So starting off on the long side on both the ES and NASDAQ, and let's see what happens with it. Big reaction on that one. ADP report came out that 37,000 versus 115. That's what I see in the news, and that was shitty. I guess that was shitty. So a bad number there, and the market react to the downside. All right, so that's a Nasdaq. We know what to do with that guy. Both the ES and Nasdaq. Let's see if they can hold on to these gains, or it's going to be some further. They're going to pull that back into value again. And then finally, oil and gold. So gold is just holding in this upper range, has not backed down below that 33.55 yet. So that's pretty good. It looks like they're consolidating a bit up here, up in the new price area. Let me see there, gold, capital flow on gold. They took out this volume edge at the 33.50, so it's trading higher, and they're holding up here so far. They've not taken out the 34.05 volume edge, so that's kind of holding. And they're just trading in this area. So I would stay on the long side. I would favor the long side still. Looking to buy against the 73s, 67s down to that 57s for rotations back up. But that's about it. So technically, if they take out the 67s, I would probably be looking for a retracement trade because this is pretty weak, this last little leg down. The last one I would look to buy against is 56 for a reverse retest of this low right there. So if they reverse retest that edge, we may see a move to the upside. But at this point, that's kind of where I'm at on it. So looking to buy weakness, 73, 67 down to that 56, 57 area. Below the 67s, I would look for short trades, see how far they can run it at that point, basically retracing these single prints on the way out. If it holds, we may see a move right back up again. I wouldn't be super aggressive on the long side buying the highs until I see them taking out that 3400s again. If they take out this upper edge, I think we are on our way higher at that point. But at this point, I would still look for 34 for shorts up here against that 34.05. So short setups against the 33.87, 97 up to the 34.05s here for rotations back down. Above this volume edge, I think we are heading higher at that point. So range starting off range bound with a bias to the upside on gold. Watch that upper edge. And I think the best lower edge is at 67. Below 67, we start looking for a retracement trade. And that's my dog in the background snoring if you hear him. That's one heck of a snore, you know. His whole freaking room is shaking. Anyway, so oil back to the back up again. They are holding up here at the upper edge. So they're up here at that upper edge 63, 64. If they start taking out this edge, we have an oil report coming out today, so it could be something moving the market. We'll see. But if they take out that edge, they can cross this low volume area and head up to the next attractor at 66, 67, and then 69. So those are the two attractors on the upside. Not sure it's trading up at the upper levels. I guess there's enough turbulence going on between Russia, Ukraine, and the Iranian situation for that to have an impact on oil prices. But as far as I know, there's not a supply issue going on, and so it's a supply and demand is pretty much being worked out, I think. That could certainly change in a heartbeat. So I think they started trading higher when they started getting a little bit of issues between the Ukraine and Russia situation, and depending on what the Iranians decide to do. So we'll see how that develops. But I would think if something comes to happens with the Iranian situation, most likely we see oil prices spike in the short term. And same thing with the Russia situation. Probably oil prices spike in the short term before they can sort out supply. But the policy position in the US means that we're going to be producing a ton of it. So overall prices will be us coming down. These crazy reactions where everything is depending on Middle Eastern oil is going to go away pretty quick here. So anyway, starting off range bound, looking to sell strength. I'm watching these upper edges, 63.80, 64.20s. If they come out, hop on alongside and see how far they can take it. But I would look for short setups against that 63.75 and the 64.10s for rotations back down. I would look to buy against the 63s and the 62.70s for rotations back up. I think 63.80s or 62.80s or 62.50s here. Probably 62.50, a bit conservative on that. We'll take off the long bias and start looking for retracement back to value again. But you can be more aggressive to 62.80 if you want. But if they backs off this upper edge, they're heading back down to this attractor at around 61, 62. So they just up here against this upper area, a couple of dollars higher. They could pretty easily rotate back again. But so far, it looks to me like they've been building value to the upper end of this, getting ready for maybe a little pop to the upside. So we will find out. But I'm still looking for short setups against these resistance areas until they get taken out. All right. So that's oil, that's gold. So range band gold with bias to the upside. Same story with range band oil with the bias to the upside, and the ES and NASDAQ. Those are the ones we have to watch for. See if they can hold on to the gains. Right now, the ADP report can put a little bit of scare in the market. Look at that. Pulled down pretty hard from 95 to the 75. So they're already back down here. So let's see what happens. All right. So we'll wrap it there for now. No news at 8:30 today, but at 9, well, Bostic speaks at 8:30, but the news is at 9:45 and 10. All right, guys, so good trading, and I will see you back at 11:30 for the next update. All right, guys, later.